have obtained a damning audio clip of Michael Masi's confession before the fact that he shouldn't have allowed himself to be pressured into doing what he did in Abu Dhabi. In the clip, Masi acknowledged that a race director regularly comes under pressure during a race to make decisions one way or the other. He then goes on to admit that when put on the spot in a high-pressure situation, the one thing he shouldn't do is make decisions outside what he would normally do. It is a matter of public record that in Abu Dhabi, Christian Horner, the Red Bull team principal, put Masi under pressure to produce one lap of racing. We, for our part, have contended that it was John Malone, the American billionaire owner of F1, who put the decisive pressure on Masi when he ordered him to engineer that last lap show of shame. To recall, Masi's defense of the Abu Dhabi debacle was that he was motivated to engage in the unprecedented engineering of the last lap fiasco to let them race. Consequently, he tore up the rulebook and made decisions outside what he, or any other race director, would normally do or be expected to do. In the first instance, he did not allow all the lapped cars to unlap themselves, and chose instead to allow only the 5 cars between Lewis and Max to unlap themselves. In the second instance, he brought the safety car in, on the same lap that he told the 5 cars to unlap themselves. These 2 decisions were not only unprecedented but also outside the rules. We won't be going into the details of those breaches here, as we have already done so in several other videos, which we recommend to those that are unfamiliar with them. However, whichever way you look at it, the fact is that when managing the race in a high-pressure situation, Masi initially acted within the established rules and regulations, and did what he would have normally been expected to do. He prioritized safety at the expense of the race finishing under the safety car. Critically, when he was then placed on the spot, and put under pressure to provide one last lap of racing, Masi made decisions that were not only outside the established rules and regulations, but also outside what he would normally do, or be expected to do.
Will they let the lap runners through?
Well, they always do let the lap runners through, and in between Hamilton and Verstappen, Norris, Alonso, Ocon, Leclerc and Vettel.
Yes, but if they do that, it extends the safety car period.
But that's what they always do, take the lap runners out of the way so they're not interfering in play.
What's the situation? So, the situation is Verstappen has pitted. He had a free pit stop. We would have lost track position to him. 4 laps remaining when you cross the line. So this field has to bunch and then they have to send lap cars through. So it may not restart.
The audio clip of Masi admitting that he shouldn't allow himself to be pressured into making a decision on the spot, outside of what he would normally do, is therefore a confession before the fact that what he did in Abu Dhabi was wrong. He clearly succumbed to pressure from his boss, John Malone, and made a decision on the spot to engineer one last lap race by reversing his earlier decision that lapped cars could not unlap themselves, to do several things that were not only outside what he would normally do, but also outside the rules. Setting aside the fact that the bogus claim by Masi's supporters that a race director can do whatever he likes runs contrary to the unanimous clamour in F1 for consistency in the application of the rules and regulations. F1 cannot afford a race director who flip-flops under pressure as Masi did in Abu Dhabi. He reversed himself on his Eiffel 2020 Grand Prix assertion that the rules and regulations provided for all cars to unlap themselves before the race can be restarted. He also reversed himself on his own assertion that he shouldn't allow himself to be pressured into doing something that he wouldn't normally do. He has shown that he buckles under pressure, and is therefore unfit for such a high-pressure job. His reputation is damaged beyond repair, and if he had any modicum of selflessness, he should resign for the greater good of F1, rather than make the sport languish under his tarnished directorship until his inevitable sacking. Here is the audio tape for your attention.
So Australia 2019 was what? How many Grand Prix had you worked at up until that moment?
In an FIA capacity, that was my 10th event.
I mean, that is extraordinary. Your 10th event, and suddenly you are the race director.
Yeah. And as a, at an F1 event in an FIA capacity, it was my 10th event. So, I'd done some steward trainee elements and that before, but actually in a true operational capacity, it was 10th event.
Mike, what was the best piece of advice that Charlie ever gave you?
Best piece of advice Charlie gave me: listen lots, let everyone have their say. Don't feel pressured to make a decision on the spot outside of what you do. Yeah, probably just don't be afraid and back to your own instincts. Probably the sort of the core ones.
Thank you for your kind attention, and we welcome your comments below.